Are you thinking of building a brand new home in Whitestown, Indiana? Hey, this is Jessica Morrison, realtor with FC Tucker Company, Indiana's largest privately owned real estate company since 1918. We are sitting down today with Dawn from Dunnhaven Homes. Dawn is wonderful. She wears many hats with Dunnhaven. And if you're familiar with Whitestown, you know that this is a new builder for the area. So, Dawn, thank you so much for joining this interview. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure to get to know you and your new community. Please tell us, like, who is Dunnhaven? Because you're new to the street.
We are new to the street, kind of. We've actually, I've been in new home construction for 20 years. I've worked for the Dunn family for almost 20 years. We were all part of an organization called Westport Homes. I started with that company back in 2007. And so worked in sales for about 13 years. The owners of the current company of Dunnhaven, their dad was one of the original founders of Westport, and his business partner passed away, and he ultimately sold to a large national builder. Matt Dunn, one of our current owners, was the division president at that national builder for the past 8 years. Chris Dunn was the regional CFO. I was the vice president of sales and marketing. And then our marketing manager had also been with the company for 20 years. The boys had just decided they wanted to follow in their dad's footsteps and have something that was truly their own. And so they stuck with the division as long as they could, and they broke off from the national builder back in May of 2025, and then started up Dunnhaven. I came over in November of 2025. If you've ever worked for the Dunns, it's hard to not work for the Dunns because they're such a great family, and 20 years of history is really hard to, when you find a good employer to break away from something like that. And so I left this Stacy, our marketing manager, she left in November as well. And we came over to help them grow Dunnhaven. So we've been building in the Indianapolis area for quite some time. But Dunnhaven itself is new to the market. We've closed a couple of homes already. The guys did a great job of selling at the beginning. And when I came over in November, I've taken over the sales portion of everything, also handling closings. Stacy is our marketing manager. And so we're just really working hard to try to build the name and let people know who we are and reassure them that we do know what we're doing. We've built homes for 20 years. I'm in my home now, and it was built by our company essentially. And so we're just really proud of what we're doing right now to grow Dunnhaven in the Indianapolis market.
Well, that's wonderful. I love hearing that backstory, especially um, I think it's comforting to know, even though you're a newer name, you're not new to the industry or new to
Mhm.
building. And that's very exciting because I do think that we need more local, small builders. I think, overall, we have a very healthy variety of production homes or national home builders to streamline that process to meet affordability needs in the Indianapolis market. But ultimately, small business is where we see so much traction in our local economy. So, and I think having that more customized or at least personalized feel with a
Mhm.
smaller local builder is what many consumers are looking for. So, when we talk about the haven at Whitestown for your community, I realize this is a new community and you may not have a ton of transparency into the numbers, but do you
Mhm.
have an anticipated price range that you're looking to meet? Because sometimes when you come into contact with smaller builders, many times because of the cost of land, your pricing is pushed up. So where do you
Mhm.
fall right now in that market?
No, we do. We actually we've released home site availability for the community, and we will launch our floor plans and release everything for sale on April 1st. We are going to have 8 floor plans that we build in this location. We'll start in the low 400s. One of the beautiful things about what we're doing in Whitestown and just across the board in general in every location that we build in is we've launched our Ready Set Home program. And so when a consumer comes in, they're looking at a model with some color change finishes, But for the most part, everything is going to be included. And so in the Haven, we're including 9-foot ceilings. We're including 42-inch wood cabinets with soft closed doors and drawers. We're including tile showers. We're including finished garages. So a buyer can truly come in and purchase a home with all of the included features, and it's 100% move-in ready with all kitchen appliances. Yeah, and so, and we,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, that's what people want. And
Yeah.
we're not limited to color packages either. We have a very small office off of North Meridian. We plan on duplicating the design area at the Haven in our sales office. And if we don't have a sample of a tile that a consumer is looking for, we can get it. We're not limited to what is in our showroom, which has been phenomenal and has really helped kind of hit what's missing in the market right now with that customization. You know, people, if you're going to pay that much for a home, they want what they want. And, you know, I haven't had to tell anyone no yet, which is nice. So, I mean, you don't typically get that, but we are more on the semi-custom and custom side of things. And, that's what we're trying to bring to the Haven so that there is that personalization, that customization. No two homes are going to look identical on the inside. And if we don't have it available to us now, we can get it. And so we're very excited.
That's amazing. I'm so excited to hear that. And I think just from an environmental standpoint, I don't mean to sound overly like a hippie, but at the same time, I think when we just I think there's nothing more frustrating than knowing, oh, I'm going to price out something and this is not the product that I want. And it
Mhm.
feels so wasteful. And I understand it in that, these larger organizations have contracts and they agree to buy things in bulk. And that's how pricing is kept down. And I understand the
Mhm.
business model. And it's not necessarily a bad business model, but I
Right.
think that there is a reality that the consumer, like I love hearing this language. I'm curious to see to what extent, there's always boundaries with what, when we say custom, what that actually means per
Hmm.
builder. But overall, I think hearing the flexibility that you're not stuck with a predetermined generic, here's 6 options for the types of hardwood you can put, it sounds
Hmm.
like you have more fluidity or if that's even a word, for the
Hmm.
consumer to speak into what is their home. And, the Boone County market is very saturated with homes over $1 million. And that's not
Hmm.
necessarily, where overall most of, or at least for Whitestown, when you look at the average income and the types of housing that people are able to afford, are able to me. And I feel like we have such a high saturated price point with 4 sides vinyl. And when you
Hmm.
look at that move up product, where is the buyer going to go?
Right.
Getting at least 3 sides brick or brick and
Hmm.
stone and, at least a quarter of an acre lot or more. That's a very, you're at the mercy as a consumer of whatever developers put in. And so I can't solve all of the challenges for housing today. But I'm excited to hear that
Hmm.
from what it sounds like, the product that you're bringing to the table is something that people will get to speak more into, have more creative control, hopefully in the designs than maybe what they might find from a more national
Hmm.
based provider. Do you feel that that's accurate? And if does it make sense to clarify then when we talk about custom, do you see proactively any limitations that you might run into?
No, I think you're dead on. I think that that right now, like I said, people they want what they want, and we have tried to bring affordable customization. I mean, like you said, you have the $1 million homes that are in that area, but people still want to build something that is unique to, their family without paying $1 million to get into a home. And so we've tried to bring that into that, the subdivision format. The only restrictions really, I mean, is if it's just something that's structurally not possible. Right now the Haven is, I'm very excited because the Haven is our very first community that we're getting into as a builder. We have 2 communities that will be under development in 2026, one in Avon and one in Pendleton. And this was offered to us. And so we're, 6 months to a year ahead of schedule getting into a neighborhood, which is, yeah, phenomenal. And so we right now, I mean, I just an example, I have we bought some home sites down in Franklin in a community, and I have a challenging home site that's a on a cul-de-sac. It's a pie shaped, and I had a buyer that came in, and we have an in-house architect that can draw plans for us. And I said, hey, I need a 3-bedroom ranch with a 3-car garage that fits this building pad, and we drew it in the office. And so that's unheard of. I mean, you just don't see that with a lot of builders. And, Matt and Chris, the owners, they have so much experience in this industry that they are able to put something like that together ahead of time and then work with our architect to bring that floor plan to life. We have our lineup for the Haven currently, but the limitations with that is it is a subdivision, so we have to build within the home site sizes and the building setbacks and whatnot. But I mean, even, we have created multiple options for the interiors of the floor plans that we are offering so that we're trying to meet all of those needs and, predict what someone would want to change about a house and go ahead and have a layout for that. And so we're just really trying to work ahead, but still giving people the opportunity if they need a room to be a little larger, or they want to extend their back covered patio that's built into the house, giving them the flexibility to be able to do that as long as it fits within the home site and it's structurally possible.
Yeah, that's actually a very surprising and under utilized element. And I feel like you're
Mhm.
laughing because you already know where I'm going with
I
this.
do.
Like, um, it kind of blows my mind when we're pricing out homes for clients,
Mhm.
how like left to the wayside this backyard element is. Like, to what extent do you have the ability to do maybe like a hand stamped concrete patio or a deck solution? Like, is that something that a client could do at the time of building?
Yes, 100%. We actually have a quick move-in home it was our second home we started in Avon. That has we're on a basement, and it has a
Yeah.
gorgeous stained stamped concrete patio in the back. We did that as an alternative. We're building some 3-story units down at Central State, just west of the zoo on Washington, and putting Trex decks on the back of the second level. And so a buyer can come in and say, I want a deck that's this size by this size, or rounded concrete patios, stamped concrete, additional landscaping. We have the flexibility and the vendors available to do all of that for the consumer.
I am so happy for how much stress just got taken off people's plates because it is like, I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah,
it feels like an adjective I don't want to say out loud, where it's like, why wouldn't you do this when you're actively grading the yard and you have the
yeah.
machines and the concrete is the cheapest it's ever going to be to import? Like, I
Hmm.
mean, why wouldn't you prioritize that? And again, I hear the
Yeah.
counter arguments of affordability and all of that, but I think again,
Hmm.
having the vendors there to
Hmm.
streamline that, and then it's not a secondary loan where they'd have to take out a construction loan or a HELOC down the road, or
Right.
like, I feel like I'm curious to see long term your home ownership like length
Hmm.
averages compared to others where they might be pressured to, or feeling that squeeze to move up sooner because
Right.
that next house already has those things. And the cost to do that now on a completed lot is different or more expensive than if they had been able to build that and include it all in one. So, um, talk to me about your preferred lenders. I imagine, do you see any uh, like with the landscaping element or the backyard improvements, does that at all inhibit or create some more conditions for a lender from your experience with an all-in-one solution like this?
I mean, not typically. I mean, if we're in a community, we're going to be conscious of our appraisals within the neighborhood, and we will, need to keep an eye on that. With our offsite or some, right now we're buying home sites in some random custom communities as well. We don't really run into it that much because there's already existing homes in the neighborhood and a lot to comp out to. But we do have to be aware in a neighborhood situation. Typically what happens is if one person does it, then you see more. And so it's a little easier to get further down the road. But with, we are probably going to be a little bit more of a move up buyer, I mean, that we're attracting. And, oftentimes we're looking at a completely different kind of loan program too. And so with conventional loans, it's not as, as concerning, but if in the event that we have, someone who's wanting to do $50,000 worth of work to their backyard, then we would, have to look at some alternative solutions for the financing if we run into the, concern of an appraisal, or, just in general, we may order an appraisal up front just to kind of see where we're at with it. Outside of a community, I mean, it's typically not an issue whatsoever.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So for the Haven specifically, are basements
Yes.
an option? Can we do a pool? How far can we take this dream and run with it?
So pools we do not offer. Happy to refer someone out to have a pool installed. But yes, we do offer basements on all of our floor plans. We have no issues with that in the Haven whatsoever. We can do finishing down in the basement as well. We unfortunately don't have the topography to be able to do a daylight or a walkout basement, but we do have the basements. We can, finish a bar, a bedroom, a bathroom. I mean, really, whatever a consumer is looking for. And we include 9-foot ceilings in our basement. We include an egress window. It's an unfinished basement. We move mechanicals downstairs. And so the cost to finish it is very affordable because most of the work is already done for them in the base price of the basement itself.
Oh, I love what I'm hearing. I mean, it's been like it's just so interesting. I've been doing real estate since 2014, and
Okay.
pre-COVID we had some like industry shifts, and then COVID obviously did its thing, and it's been interesting to watch post pandemic how all of like this just the industry. I mean, not that the industry has changed much, or adjusted and had, a lot of changes going on. I'm saying that sarcastically because there's
Yes.
been just a lot going on. Um, and so it's been interesting to watch how builders from various sizes have responded to that. It's almost like, a train on a train track,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how we've kind of slowly started to get back up to speed, or where the kinks in the chain are. And one of the most common objections I hear to why a community is not offering a basement is because concrete is so expensive. How do you feel about that statement?
Um, I agree that concrete is expensive. I think that a lot of builders steer clear of it if if it's not required because of topography, because of the sheer unknown with how many people are going to do a basement, because you can run into an appraisal issue. I mean, if you have a established neighborhood and no one has a basement and a buyer comes in and they're doing an FHA loan and they don't have the money to make up an appraisal deficit, an appraiser is not always going to give you the total cost of a basement as the value. And so I think that a lot of builders don't offer them because it kind of puts them in a position to potentially, if the buyer can't close on that house, then they have to sell it as a quick move in. I think it also cuts down on their build time. I mean, working for a production builder for a long time, they serve a purpose. I'm not saying anything negative, but it's a numbers thing. How quickly can we build them, sell them, close them? And so when you tack on another 30 days of that, then you run into a slowdown on your cycle times. And that's why I'm glad we're, kind of steering away from the whole big production builder thing and going back to, the way that we were in the past, because it is more about the consumer. It is more about people staying in their homes longer. And like you said, there's less of a need to move up. I mean, I'm in a home that we built in 2016 and it's 2026. I love my house. I have a basement. I mean, I have no reason to move. And so I think you're going to see more of that in the neighborhood that I live in. We have a lot of original owners that still live in the community because they were able to customize their plan a little bit more based off of what they needed for their family. And so I think you were dead on whenever you were talking about that.
That's always nice to hear.
Yes.
It's like I do know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think the thoughtfulness, ultimately, like, there's a scripture, godliness with contentment is great gain. And I think, it's just like ordering a pizza. There's different types of pizza out
Mhm.
there. And, I'm sure as a builder, you had a variety of different business models you could have chose. And I think that this
Mhm.
is very much a needed model in the Indianapolis market. So I'm excited to see how quickly you guys sell out. That being said, walk me through like for the Haven. I know you guys are going to be releasing stuff on April 1st.
Mhm.
What's the details as far as like if a client signs a contract with you tomorrow or
Mhm.
April 1st, what's your process timeline look like? Walk us through if we were going to work with you for the first time, what can a client expect?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So client comes in, we would, narrow down a floor plan, find a home site for them, put a purchase agreement together. We require pre-approval from a lender. We do have a preferred lender that we're working with currently. We're paying some closing costs. And would, send them over to get them pre-approved. And then from there, we would do a color selection appointment, try to typically, like to get those completed within a week or two. And once that's happened and we finalized all the options, we'll start drawing the plans up, sending out for permit. Um, Whitestown is pretty fast to turn building permits around. So I would say 30 to 45 days from the day that you sign a contract, we should have, most of what we need back to start the house. From the time we break ground to completion, we're 90 to 120 days, depending on the size of the house. That's on a slab. Basement would add about 15 to 30 days to it. So from contract to completion, I would say 6, 7 months at the most would be kind of an expected build time with us. We like to do everything internally, so we will have our design area set up at the Haven in the model, so we don't have to send anybody to a design center. If there's something they can't find, we can have them go out and, visit one of our vendor showrooms and kind of work through that. And then once we break ground, they have multiple meetings with myself and our project manager during the building process. And so once we sat down for a pre-construction meeting, and after that we would break ground, and then Matt, which is our project manager, and myself would be in contact with our buyers on a weekly basis, letting them know what's happened, what's on the schedule for the upcoming week. So if they have anything that they have to plan around, whether it's a lease break fee or getting their home listed, I mean, anything like that, they're in communication the entire time of the build. And buyers can visit their home. We don't restrict that at all. We encourage people to go out and take a look at the progress of the house. That's the exciting part, especially if you have littles. They like to see the house going up. But we're pretty transparent through the entire process, and we welcome people to come in and see what's going on, to see how their house is being built. So pretty easy, streamlined. Everything's handled at the model, and everything right now goes through me. We'll probably be hiring a sales rep for the Haven, but it would be the same process as well. They would work hand in hand with whoever that person might be, and they'll keep them involved in the entire process, along with their agent too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, yeah, the number one thing I see as a trouble spot is you have all of this romantic communication that
Mhm.
feels like, to get the client under contract. And then it's like as soon as the client is under contract, the sales rep disappears and the construction manager comes in, and you are at the mercy of how good that company is with
Mhm.
updates. And I can sit there and be like, okay, every week you said you were going to either send me pictures or updates or whatever, and I'm stopping by. I like to walk the
Yeah.
property, see what's been done, because the clients don't always get to do that. um,
Right.
and I don't think most agents are as involved as I am, but I
Mhm.
really like I genuinely care about the people that I represent. And
Yeah.
um I don't ever want to take for granted like these updates, especially when you're building from scratch versus a quick move in or something else. Like um it's just I think the communication post contract is so important. And I think setting that expectation, we're going to have weekly updates and we follow through on that. And
Mhm.
like that is so good to hear. It's like I would like to say that that's expected, but it's not always guaranteed when you're working
Right.
with different builders. And that again
Right.
is really at the mercy of leadership ultimately.
Mhm.
Obviously when you're a smaller company, you have a bit more accountability with that. So
And I don't have far to go. Anyone can track me down anywhere. So if you
right.
don't get a phone call, I was pleasantly surprised. I reached out to our project manager. We had a house on the south side that we were waiting on footers to be poured. We had a little bit of pushback because of the weather. And so I texted him yesterday and I said, "Hey, did you let him know that his footers went in?" And he said, "Well, Chris called him." Chris is one of the owners. So Chris was out with our project manager, saw footers went in, and reached out to the homeowner himself. And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. I love it." And so again, with us being so small, we've always kind of operated under that philosophy though. Once communication falls apart, you're done. I mean,
Hmm.
you're absolutely correct. It's just it is you lose people at that point. And this is building a home is one of those processes it's fun, but it's
Hmm.
dirty. It can be frustrating. It's you see everything. And so if you don't have that line of communication open to address any issue that pops up, it just makes it that much worse for the consumer and they don't understand what's happened or if somebody comes in and drywall went up and a hole got punched in the drywall, it's okay. We're gonna fix it. And just little things like that. And I try to make myself readily available, and so does our project manager. So all of our customers we're working with now, they have my cell phone. They can text me. I can text them, and it is exciting. I did this for so long. I sold for so long, and I love being in management. But talking to
Famous
customers,
last words.
I know. Talking to customers again, I've met some really amazing people over the last couple of weeks, and I feel like every time I get finished with an appointment and I talk to Matt or Chris, I'm like, I love these people. Oh my gosh, they're so like they just hit me in the heart, and so it's kind of nice being back doing that again and kind of that was what I had done for so long, and I feel like I was relatively successful whenever I was in sales and, made
Hmm.
friends with a lot of my homeowners. And so it's like all of those feelings coming back again. It's like riding a bicycle. So,
I love out of everything that you just said, you were talking about the personalized process with a job site being reviewed by the owner, because so often that is reserved for truly custom experiences.
mhm.
And I've been told by one organization that they had a construction manager who was supervising 400 builds.
Holy cow. Wow.
I don't know how you can ensure that everything is being done correctly. I mean, and again, like if you've got great systems, go for it. Prove me wrong. But I
Hmm.
mean, I've had or I've witnessed, I've not had clients say this, but I've seen this on social media where the public will say something like, well, the city's going to inspect it and all of this stuff. And they put a lot of faith on
Hmm.
either the builder or these other parties to police their build or maintain accountability. And you don't always get this as much of a connection as you do in this price point with that type of service. So,
Hmm.
um, again, to walk this back for this community, we have a couple minutes left. How many home sites
Sure.
are we looking at? And
Sure.
are there features that um, you just really love geeking out about that you want the public to
Oh
be
my
really
gosh,
excited
all of
about
them.
too? Yeah.
I'm just excited that we're including everything. When we sat down and put our list together, I mean, this was a collaborative effort too. This wasn't just Matt and Chris. I mean, we have 6 employees right now. All of us, all 6, have worked for the Dunns in some capacity in the past, which I think says a lot about the family. And they wanted our feedback. They wanted to know all right, what do we want to do? Because we are Dunnhaven. It's not just, Matt and Chris. And so, we put this list together and he's like, let's just include all of these things. I mean, I think the fact that we're doing finished garages is huge. I don't know that any other builder out there is doing it. The 9-foot plates.
Yeah. I'm
One
just going
of,
to pause right there. Guys,
yeah.
like, you don't get that. It's annoying as heck. And
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, I know people want to save money and kudos to that, but like, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
so happy for people to get that included. So
Yeah.
anyway, don't
if
sleep on
if
that.
if you've had one before, you know. But I mean, even the floor plans that we have selected for this community are different. They're just different than what every other builder is doing. I'm really excited about our model. It's the Madison 2. We are, the kitchen will be set up and it'll have this really cool coffee bar element. There's a primary on the first floor. There's an office on the first floor. And this plan actually has the ability to be a 3 or 4 bedroom home. So the secondary bedrooms will be upstairs along with a loft. And the architectural design that we're bringing to the neighborhood, like just all of us coming from the production builder world, that is what I'm the most geeked out about. We're doing hardy siding and we'll have some brick on the front of the house. Actually, I think we have to do, well, as of right now, we're doing a like a 3 foot wainscoting and brick around the outside of the house. But just the architectural designs on the front and the insides of the houses. I can't wait to see them. I cannot wait to see what these look like. They're going to be so cute. They have cute porches and big, thick columns that have some substance to them that just make the outside so much more inviting. That's probably like the biggest thing.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
wonder about the homes that were built like 1994 to 2006
Mhm.
with vinyl,
Yeah.
how those are going to age. And like in 100 years, what are
Hmm.
those communities going to look like? And
Right.
I don't think we have the luxury right now to really think about that. I'm
Mhm.
optimistic, but I always get really excited when we see um, some of these. I'm not saying that this necessarily falls in that category, but at least a bit more thought put into a community that um, you can take this as far as like mental health. With the more thought that you put into your art and architecture,
Hmm.
it literally boosts mental well-being and sense of place. And we actually even have safety studies to support that. So
Hmm.
it's exciting to hear that this is a priority for you as a builder. And it's certainly excited to see when this all releases. So if people are interested in connecting with you, I would appreciate if you watched this video and found it valuable and do not have a realtor to represent you. I would love to interview with you and see if this would be a good fit. As a realtor in the Indianapolis market, I do have agent relationships all over the world. FC Tucker Company founded a company called Leading RE, Leading Real Estate Companies of the World, and that is very hard to get into. But in short, if you're moving from Michigan to Florida, Italy to Spain, wherever, I have a network of agents that can support you in that transition. So even if you're not affiliated with Indiana, however, um, I recognize you might be. I have clients right now moving from Reno, Nevada, here to the Indy market, and it's always a pleasure to be able to help be a liaison in that transition. And so when it comes to new construction, I hope you found this particular video resource to be helpful in that. Please feel free to connect in the description of this video with the link to fill out a form for more information. However, if you also would like to connect with Dawn, please mention this video as well. Dawn, what is the best way for people to get connected with Dunnhaven Homes?
Sure. So you can register on our website at Dunnhaven Homes. It's DUNNHAVEN Homes, HOMES.com. Or you can reach out to me directly. My cell is 317-414-6085.
Okay. Now, I
Yeah.
know one of the most common questions I get is, well, hey, if I just go to the sales rep, do I save money by not working with a realtor? Is that true, Don?
No, not with us. No,
Oh,
we value our realtor partnerships. I think it's very helpful for people to come in with an agent who is knowledgeable, who can help advise for, potential resale down the road. It's always nice to have an extra opinion about everything as well. And we don't adjust our pricing based off of an agent or not. We really value our realtor partnerships. We've worked really, really hard at kind of building our brand specifically with the realtor community. And so it's not something that we're interested in doing. We know that, we respect the fact people come in without an agent. We're, happy to navigate the process with them, but it doesn't impact our overall pricing. I mean, it's just, you kind of get what you get with us, and with most things being included, it's set at our base pricing. And so really there's not a lot to negotiate with us, honestly. I mean, we're not gonna, discount our houses below where the base price is at. And so, yeah,
what?
just doesn't really make sense.
We can't negotiate 30% off?
Yeah,
That's not
no,
how this works.
it's not how this works. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things too that I think people are pleasantly surprised whenever they do come in and they're pricing out a home with us and looking at upgraded options is that they're affordable. I mean, we're to go from our quartz level, quartz is included in our bathrooms and kitchens, and to go from a quartz level 1 to a quartz level 2 is a $400 to $500 jump. And so it's very, very minimal to do the upgraded features with us. We aren't interested in, making a ton of money off of options. I mean, we want to give people something that they can move into, and if they want to spend a little bit of additional money to, kind of customize the interior colors of the house, then they can. But we're more interested in we want to be the builder that says, here, this is what we offer, and people are blown away that they really don't have to do a lot, and it's
Yeah.
exactly what they wanted.
Yeah. And again, I think that comes back to when you create a business model that is accessible, does
Mhm.
help the client feel seen, heard, and respected and valued. Ultimately, that's a better succession plan because then as you build that product, you're probably going to build a move up product. And if you have an
Mhm.
exceptional experience, the quality is there, there's no issues after the move. Or, I mean, there's no mistakes that happen in construction, right? Every build is perfect. The floors are
Every
always level,
every single one of them.
there's no leaks or anything like that. But
Right.
I think in that warranty program, that customer support, hopefully you would have a client that loved their home enough that said, hey, like, you know what, we've added more family members or we have a generation moving back in with us. We need to, modify our lifestyle and, we'd love to build with you again. And I would imagine that, in your 10 to 20-year business plan, you're probably looking at, hopefully recapturing the buyers that you have now for a build
Mhm.
later. And that would be such a fun, I always hope that for my client experiences that I would rather have, I actually do have this. I have a client that's worked with me 5, 6 times in a row, which is an
Mhm.
exceptional honor to have received that level of trust and their family referrals. And special shout out to the McQueens. You guys are wonderful. Um, and not everybody gets that luxury. And
Yeah.
so referrals and the quality of business that you provide at the start, so much. So I'm very excited to see how well you guys do in the
Thank you.
Whitestown market. And I hope you guys heard loud and clear all of the heart, I think is the big thing that I personally took away from this conversation, meeting a need and all of the bells and whistles with that. So
Mhm.
thank you,
Yep.
Dawn, so much for your time today. And look forward to that release on April 1st.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's very exciting.